What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us for Not Another Top 10 show. Sorry about last week. We took a 1 week break, but thanks for everybody who checked out the Jungle Book review. I thought it was a great movie, and if you haven't listened to the Jungle Book review, go ahead and click on that video. Also, thank you everyone for checking out the Best Star Wars Characters podcast. That was a lot of fun. It was almost 2 hours long, but we got through it. And we had a code giveaway that day, and I'm pleased to announce a newcomer that came in and snagged the award. So Brady Rollins, congratulations. Your comment on Darth Maul and his new legs, won you that code, so we'll be getting you that soon. As for today, we are back to our original ways with Not Another Top 10 show presents Best Tom Hanks Films. And joining me today, Royce Brackett. Welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me.
And another sophomore effort, Joey J. Neems Neemy.
It's great to be back.
What's that? How does John Lennon say it? John Lennon.
Oh, he just leans over.
Yeah.
No possessions?
No religion too. It's really hard to think about it. It's not actually, John, if you think about it.
It's easy if you try, Dick.
It's easy if you try, Dick. All right, so we're going to go back to our one of our original ways of doing our top 10 list. So when we set the topic, we each went our separate ways to create our top 10. Now, when we go through this, we're going to go 5 through 1. What'll happen is if we have a similar film on our top 5s, the person who has it lower, meaning towards 5, will have to replace theirs with one of their films from 6 through 10 in order. So if I had A League of Their Own at 5, someone else has it higher, I'd have to replace A League of Their Own with my number 6. If my number 6 is gone, then I do 7, and so on and so forth. And stick around for the end of this because we are going to introduce a new show that we're going to come out with starting this summer. So stay tuned for the end of this podcast, and you'll hear what it is. We're really excited. I'm excited. These two don't know about it yet, so hopefully they'll be excited too.
Eager to see.
All right, so here's how we'll do it. We'll do 5-4 each of us, 3-2 each of us, and then our ones. And then we'll go over our whichever films don't get mentioned from 6 through 10. We'll go through that and create our ultimate list. Ready? Let's do this. Let's switch it up here, and let's have Royce. Why don't you take it away?
Okay, so at number 5, I have the original Toy Story, a very classic film from my youth.
Higher.
That's what I figured was coming. So I'm going to replace that with my number 6, which is Philadelphia. So with Tom Hanks, very good film. Haven't seen it in years, but extremely powerful.
Yeah, I was just gonna say powerful.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume no one has it higher because no one interrupted me.
No. It snuck in, but it's down there on my list.
This is one I forgot myself because, like I said, I haven't seen in years, but an extremely good film. You just have to sort of see it, and it kind of takes your breath away with its emotion. It's powerful. But yeah, that's my...
Well, everyone knows what it's about, right? Tom Hanks is contracted with AIDS, and then he gets fired. He's a lawyer, correct?
Yeah.
Isn't he, gay?
Yeah, well, yeah, he got AIDS. Not saying that's how you gotta get it. I'm just saying. But then Denzel Washington actually is the one who has to represent him, and I don't know. I'm pretty big on the court case battle films, type films, and this is a good one for sure. But it's kind of nice that you sort of have a minority and someone who could be looked at in a different way, like a minority, going into battle together against this company that's very homophobic and such. So yeah, good flick.
Yeah, extremely good movie. Number 4, this might be higher, Castaway.
Higher.
It's not on mine.
Wow.
Didn't make it.
So doing my number 7, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, I forgot about it.
You forgot about Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah.
That's higher for me.
Oh boy.
Saving Private Ryan.
Higher.
For me.
I'm running out. Road to Perdition.
No, it's not higher
It's
for me.
not higher for me.
That's what I figured. Road to Perdition. That's also an extremely good movie. If I remember the plot right and correctly, Tom Hanks is like a hitman for a mafia or the mob.
Yep.
And his son witnesses a crime, and his family gets attacked because of it, and it's him trying to lead his family, well, eventually just his son, to safety.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, good movie. Yeah, just a really, really good movie.
Yeah, I think Sam Mendes creates a film that sort of dissects a crime families, and I put families in quotations, because of how Tom Hanks is looked at as being a son to Paul Newman's character, who has a biological son, but the way the business is, he eventually gets a hit put out on him, and then he has to go back. And that really powerful scene in the rain where Hanks takes down Paul Newman's guards with the machine gun, and Paul Newman just slowly, he just stands there looking the opposite way the entire time, and then turns around and sees Tom Hanks, and he just says, "I'm glad it was you," and then he just unloads on him.
That score really ties
Yeah.
that whole scene together too. It's like the most perfect composition for that scene.
Thomas Newman, if I'm not mistaken, scored that film, which it is definitely. But Hanks propels the story, and he quickly hooks us into his life. You still look at him sympathetically in ways. He's a hitman. What he's done, and even Newman says in that scene where they're in the basement that the only thing that's for certain in this world is that nobody here is getting into heaven. Hence the name Road to Perdition. So they're scum, but we still have this this empathy for Hanks's character. But yeah, I think what's funny about that film is that Jude Law is in it.
I was going to mention that.
For the longest time, I didn't realize it was him.
I was shocked when I saw him the first time.
And Daniel Craig's in it,
Yep.
too.
That was before Bond, if I remember.
Such an uncommon role, I would think, for Tom Hanks too. I'd never really picture him as a star in a gangster film, but he really
He's
pulled
like
it
an
off.
anti-hero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he does a phenomenal job. I thought Paul Newman's work in it was really well done, and to be honest, I think the kid in that movie ends up making an appearance in that really shitty show, Seventh Heaven, later down the line. So like his career didn't go very far. But man, what an honor to be able to work with a guy like Tom Hanks in a movie like Road to Perdition, which I think is a very underrated movie that doesn't get talked about too much.
Yeah.
So that was your 5 and 4.
That was 5-4, yep.
Jane Eames.
Really got to
Alright.
9, so
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Number 5, I have The Burbs.
Don't have it.
Nope.
I love it though.
You guys don't have it on your list?
No.
I was it was teetering at 10 with me, and I couldn't get it on there.
Well, I mean, Tom Hanks, besides carrying that whole movie with Bruce Dern, it's like one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
It is pretty hilarious. Have you seen it, Seidel?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, dude. That you're gonna have to borrow that because that movie is great.
No, yeah, like I said, he really like carries that whole movie. Like, I'd say like 50% of anything that's funny comes from Tom Hanks from that movie. Really.
Well, what the great thing about The Burbs is for me, and I think you kind of grew up in a different neighborhood than me and Joe did, but like I think Siski could attest to it, and like all the shenanigans that we got into, how much we would love if we had like a creepy ass neighbor to just fuck around with. Like it's that story. It's taken place in like a cul-de-sac. That's all you see is a few houses and them getting together as neighbors and trying to figure out what the deal with these creepy ass neighbors. What are they all about and everything. And it's like this, this mystery thriller that takes place in basically a city block, or the end of a cul-de-sac, which is just, I don't know, it really hits home with me for running through backyards and stuff like that and messing around in those ways, and like what we had to do to create what the plot of that movie was that we had to fabricate it, calling that dude on the corner of the street Mean Man. You didn't even know the guy. We just pretended that he was mean so that we could mess around with him, But Yeah, I mean the Burbs is great. It is hilarious. Bruce Dern's hilarious. That fat guy is pretty funny, and Tom Hanks it's hilarious too. Sardine.
Yeah, he does a really good job. My number 4, I had Catch Me If You Can.
Which, yeah, that
You
was
had it
he,
lower.
he took mine.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
my
Okay,
7. So
good
take
flick.
it away. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously DiCaprio is in it, does a stellar job, but the next big name runner-up would obviously have to be Tom Hanks. I mean, he's kind of both an antagonist and an antagonist at the same time, because you have this love for DiCaprio, but in reality, Tom Hanks is really the good guy working for the FBI and trying to catch this guy who's just frauding all these people, like all these banks. And he does a really good job at like the whatever era they're supposed to be in. And he does he's like good conservative, just FBI agent. Like in the scene when those guys are joking around in the car with him, and he just gets all serious. Oh, you want to hear a joke? And he like tells him to shut the hell up or something
Yeah.
like that. I thought that was really good.
Well, it's nice how Hanks's character and DiCaprio's character play off each other, because when you think about it, Hanks is so wrapped up in his work that he basically alienated his own family.
Yeah.
And then DiCaprio, who longs for a family, who is without one because of the divorce of his parents and his mom moving on and having her own family, and he's just a lonely kid, and he sort of creates this bond with this guy, and it's almost like a game, to DiCaprio. And I think at the end, you can see that Hanks kind of cares for this kid, in a way. But I think that puts the heart into that film. But it's a really enjoyable film to watch, because he goes through, being the doctor and the pilot and the lawyer and everything like that.
How did you cheat the bar, Frank?
Which is great. I actually, in my senior year in high school, we listened to Frank Abagnale Jr. talk about his story. Literally, that's all the class was, because it was like finals week or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, our teacher just played it for us, and I was just so enamored with that dude's story, that it was just this guy talking about his life, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then seeing the movie, then it just, it made it even better, because it put pictures to it all. But yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, fantastic movie. I like that, Tom Hanks took like a very straight-laced role as this conservative FBI guy, and like so many other actors I could see just kind of being in the shadow, and he really was. He brought that character to life, even though he was just be the exact opposite of Leo. Very by the book, straightforward.
Very profound relationship. It's like Leo's just this risk taker and doing everything like unorthodox, while Hanratty is, very orthodox, doing everything by the book.
Well, it's funny. I remember that scene when Hanks actually catches Abagnale in that hotel room or whatever, and he just bullshits him with what is he? He has like a wallet or something that's really fat or something.
From like the labels that he.
Yeah, and then he realizes he's been duped.
Name's Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Well, you say he was from the CIA or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Homeland Security or
And
something.
he just sees him running out running out down the street out the window. Hey, get back here!
Oh, that's great. So that was your 5 and 4?
Yeah, that was 5 and 4.
All right, 5 I have Big.
Big is actually lower on mine, so you're good.
Okay. I think Penny Marshall's another director that combines with Hanks so well. And Big is a film that immerses you in fantasy. I mean, it's literally a kid who wishes to a Zoltar machine to be big. And then from there, it takes you on this awesome ride, because everything that happens is so farcical, and it's just such a great fantasy. But once again, Hanks puts on a show, and in turn, takes us along for the ride, and the film is packed with fun dialogue and such a quirky plot. And the best part is it's a great film for people of all ages because the kids can understand where, you know, Hanks' character's coming from, but the adults can too, you know, because he slowly morphs into, you know, he wishes to be a grown-up so he's not looked at like a kid, and then when he's there, then what makes him stick out and what pushes him to the top at that toy company is the fact that he's a kid. And then he gets too involved with work and stuff, and then sort of cuts off ties with his friend who's still a child, and then, you know, it brings pretty good drama from there on out. But yeah, I think it's great. I think the love scenario between Hanks and I think Elizabeth Perkins is her name is it's really enjoyable. And that handball scene, remember that when he plays Kevin McAllister's dad?
Yeah.
Have you seen Big?
Yeah, I have. It's
Well, like,
been a while.
Yeah, like they go out.
He tried to play his game and he punched me for it.
Yeah. Give me the ball, you little shit.
Yeah, no, I think Tom Hanks really does a phenomenal job. He can actually make you believe that he's like this inner child stuck inside of like a grown man's body, really.
He was nominated for an Oscar for
I
that.
think that just makes his metamorphosis that he goes through as like a kid and then slowly turning into like an actual grown up just makes it that much more like meaningful and powerful to people on a personal level.
I'll give you a grown up. I love that. I think the fact that the script has him going and becoming working for a toy company, which is just great. And then it's like, yeah, of course this kid would know what great toys to put out and everything like that.
Yeah.
But then the piano scene, very iconic.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's make it a bug.
I'd have to say the reason I had it lower.
Bob's
on my
office is
list-
bigger than my office.
Big was actually number 10 on my list. I think the reason I had it so low is I could see another name really taking Tom Hanks' spot in that film, like a Bill Murray or like Chris Farley or something. Because I mean, you see Tommy Boy, and I mean Tommy Boy kind of is really like. I mean, it's very similar to Big. He's this grown-up kid basically.
That's debatable. I couldn't see Chris Farley in that. I couldn't see Bill Murray, and I think the way Hanks does it, because he has that, you know, kind of that unique voice. Obviously, we know him as Woody, but I think he's got that just enough whininess in that voice to make him sound like, dude, shut up. You're sounding like a kid.
He
you
does
know?
an excellent job of sounding like a child.
But yeah, just the way he acts, and he just fits so perfectly in there. Just a perfect fit in that puzzle piece. And I think Penny Marshall uses him to perfection. And really then, you know, as the story pushes forward, you know, you do have a great beginning, middle, and end with a story like Big, which is really just a simple story of a kid. I mean, we've seen this blueprint so many times with Vice Versa. What's some other ones where The Kid... with Bruce Willis, right? He gets switched out. There's probably more than I'm missing, but there's still this blueprint. But I think Big does it the best because it does have that. He does have the attachment with the young kid. I don't remember their kid's name.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy, but I don't know his name in real life.
Oh, no.
He's in Overboard and some other smaller movies like that. But he's the foundation, almost the anchor of like, you got to come back, you know, and then you have that force that's drawing him to keep being an adult, which is Elizabeth Perkins, and you know, I don't know, I really enjoy the movie. It's one you can really go back to time and time again. You can pick it up wherever you want in the film and then watch it and enjoy every minute of it. So, yeah, Big at 4 or 5. Saving Private Ryan is at 4 for me.
Higher.
Good Lord. All right, then we go Green Mile at. My next is the Green Mile.
Ooh, higher.
Good Lord. We already talked about Road to Perdition.
Yep.
So now I'm down to
This is a hard list.
Apollo 13.
I don't have it.
Higher.
Are you kidding me? Oh, good then. A League of Their Own.
Okay, you're good.
A League of Their
It's
Own.
lower on
good.
mine.
All right, so Well, what is there to say? I think I've talked about this movie quite a bit in the past couple months, but it's one that I think is worth the talk. And here again, another Penny Marshall movie about women's baseball that is so fun to watch. And mainly what I go back to, and some of the best scenes in there, is Tom Hanks as Jimmy Dugan reacting to his role as a women's baseball manager, his confrontations with some of the players on the team, him being pissed drunk all the time. Then his slow transformation throughout the season, and becoming really into it, and still being still being that same Jimmy Dugan, but like coming to terms with the fact that like, okay, these girls are badass, they're good baseball players. But when there was a few scenes that I rewatched, I actually rewatched the whole movie not too long ago, maybe like a couple weeks ago, and then on top of that I watched a few scenes on YouTube. But when he gets into that, when he tells that girl, Evelyn, what team do you play for? I was just wondering, because why would you throw home when we have a 2-run lead? And he just flips out at her like,
you let the time not get on second. That's only because of you.
Start using your head. That's that lump 3 feet above your ass.
That's what's so perfect.
Are you crying? Are you crying?
The realism in that, like, that is something you would see a pissed off coach saying to one of his players.
Yeah.
Just something kind of outrageously ridiculous, but
But what's great about that scene, and this is what Penny Marshall does so well in this film, because you have him actually giving a shit, and then he gets too into it and bitches out this girl, and she starts to cry, and then he's pissed off because she's crying, and then the umpire comes over.
With the umpire
I never knew what the umpire said, but he actually says to Jimmy that maybe you were too harsh on her. Essentially, that's what he's saying.
Well, yeah.
And then the rule of thumb is treat each of these girls like you would treat your mother. Has anybody ever told you look like a penis with a little hat on?
Gets ejected.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's so good.
I really like the scene where he's taking pitches from that machine, just grumbling about having to teach girls the whole time.
I'm hitting like a girl.
Ball players, like grumbling. It's something like our dad would do as a coach, sitting there and grumbling while feeding balls, just bitching about your performance.
Oh man. But I think that film has, but not only just with Hanks, because I think Hanks does a great job, but what Gina Davis and Lori Petty have to go through as sisters, and their conflict, and their transformation and their arc throughout the story is great in itself. And I don't think you could really have that feeling unless you had it from a woman's perspective, because we all have sisters here, but could we be directing these women in a way that would be the way 2 girls would squabble with each other? Maybe, but I think looking at it through the eye of Penny Marshall and getting to feel what these girls are really thinking and everything, especially the 2 sisters, it's great. But it's that movie, and then the ending. I asked Damon, do you guys think you've seen that movie?
Most
Royce?
of it, but not all of it. I'm gonna ask to borrow it though. It sounds funny as hell.
Yeah, it's good. It's on Netflix too.
Yeah, I have Netflix. So.
So at the I'm not gonna give it away. Well, you saw it though, right?
Yeah.
At the end, Lori Petty's character Kit gets traded to the different team. They meet each other in the World Series. It's Game 7, and it comes down to Kit running to home and Dottie, her sister, having the ball, making a play, and they run into each other. And the sure-handed Henson drops the ball at the end, leading to the question, did she drop the ball on purpose, or did she just get outplayed for once, Mm-hmm. And I think I was in the boat of she definitely dropped it on purpose way back in the day when I was younger watching it, but now I'm not so sure, because if you think about it, she left for the first 6 games of the series. She was not there. She didn't play at all. She came back for game 7 only because she got as far as she got as far as Yellowstone Park and turned around because she's not a quitter. And so she came back for that game. And she even tells the pitcher, throw him high, because she can't hit him and she can't lay off of him. You know, can't hit him, can't lay off of him. And then she finally gets a hold of one. But yeah, I honestly truly think at the end she does not drop the ball on purpose.
I think that she does.
I don't. Okay, explain then.
Well, it's kind of like just what you said. She tells her teammate to chuck the high ball. That's her sister. She's seen her play dozens and dozens of times. She knows what her weaknesses and strengths are. High fastballs are her number one weakness, and Dottie takes advantage of that. So maybe she won't have to make a play against her sister and end up, essentially losing the game for her whole team because she doesn't want to show up her sister again. I mean, you see at the end when they're raising Kit and everybody's cheering for her and Dottie and Jimmy are standing there, and she's just got this look on her face.
She's smiling. She's happy for her sister for once.
Very proud, but
there's
something else to that smile, because it's like not a full proud smile. It's kind of just like a half smile. Like she feels bad about maybe losing it for her team, but she's so happy that her sister finally gets a chance in the spotlight.
I disagree. If I'm going to the pitcher and telling the pitcher your biggest weakness, that you cannot hit these, you cannot lay off them, and you cannot hit them, you're damn right. I'm going to assume that that's going to win me the game. Now, what I think we'd take away from is Kit's perseverance. Maybe finally for once she is just able to reach that peak, that paramount where she could never ever outlive her sister. And that was her time, her one time, like Babe Ruth pointing and calling his shot. That's his time to shine. Babe Ruth has his own candy bar. He has a movie based around it, numerous movies based around him, because he did that. And I think that in this case, Kit finally comes through and overcomes her weakness. And to be honest, she wasn't even... Dottie was shocked that she was going to overrun third, because if you remember the score, the Peaches were up by 1 run with 1 runner on base and Kit up at the plate. So they could win if she jacked a homer. But other than that, she hit a ribby. Okay, so she scored. The other teammate scored, but then Kit ran through the stop sign. They were holding her off at third base. So she was going to get a triple, hold her off. But no, she ran through the stop sign at third, and Dottie's reaction is like, are you kidding me? Like, give me the ball. And she was there and ready for it. But I will say this. Minus the editing where the girl actually throws the ball and then you cut through the catcher catching the ball, that's a little shoddy and a little dated. But I will tell you, throughout that sequence, that final sequence, you can see the people catching that ball. And the direction that goes into saying, we need the cameras here, here, and here to catch and pick that up, while you're focusing on the runner, because you see the outfielder, Evelyn, she finally hits the cutoff man. The cutoff man throws it to third, who's Rosie O'Donnell's character. You can see her catch it, and then, boom, she runs through it, and then the throw home from Rosie O'Donnell to Gina Davis. It's good editing. It's a really great movie, but still, there's no way I feel like that she did that. There was no way she would drive all the way back there to play in that game. Why would you, if you weren't competitive and wanted to win? She does have that ego, even though she likes to play it off like, no, I don't have that ego, Kit. It's just, she does. And there's a reason why she's doing, the splits and catching balls, running into the dugout and catching balls, is because she's a competitor, plain and simple. And I do think she wanted to win that game, but she was not. It's a really close second for Dottie in that situation to lose that game to her sister, who really needed that. But
back to Tom Hanks in the role, though.
What, we were talking about Tom Hanks?
Yeah, we are. He's he's extremely versatile in his acting is in A League of Their Own. He's crabby. He can be extremely pissed off, you know, or he has that supportive, like, touching side to him when he delivers the war telegram to the girl
Oh,
who
yeah,
lost
yeah.
her
Good-
husband.
yeah, good
He does
scene.
a really good job of, you know, trying to console her. And then he's also the guy who's, like, on the bus and the coach who's, you know, talking to his players, making some connections. I mean, it's mostly with Dottie, but he really does embody a coach, like, so well in that movie.
Yeah. I mean, just to piggyback off what you just said, there's some great scenes. I think Ira Lowenstein. I always forget the guy who plays him. Great actor. It's a travesty that I can't remember his name ever. But he does a really great job. And that scene where he hawks that chaw onto his foot. If we pay you a little more, could you be a little bit more disgusting? I could certainly use the money.
I should have never sold the team's equipment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's great. Oh, man. That's so hilarious. But, yeah, great film. It's got that touchy... It's got a lot of emotion, but then it has that lighthearted side with Stillwell. They're going to win! He hits him in the face with that glove. It still will snack on my cleat. But finally done with A League of Their Own. So that would be my... What, was that 4?
Yeah.
All right.
Holy crap.
Royce, you're at 3.
All right, my number 3 was The Green Mile. I think
You're good to go on that.
Oh, yeah. I have it at...
you had it higher. Than
at
that.
6.
Lower, yeah.
So
Lower.
let's talk about it.
Yeah, so The Green Mile, very, very good film. I ended up reading the book it was based upon by Stephen King well before I watched the movie, so I knew what was coming and all that before I had seen the movie. But Tom Hanks does a fantastic job as he's not the warden, but he's an officer working in
Yeah,
the
he's
prison.
like the block leader,
Manager,
yeah.
On death row, which is called the Green Mile in this
Right.
particular place. But yeah, it's just a very, very good and emotionally draining movie. At the end, that's the scene where they're electrocuting John Coffey at the very end, where he says he has to say roll on 2, and he just gets like chalked up a little bit because he knows he's killing an innocent man.
And then Barry Pepper's over there breaking down.
Yeah, he's crying as he's holding the switch, and they all know he's innocent, and they all know like he's a miracle and a very, very gentle, nice man. And he had saved people's lives and tried to save those girls' lives. But yeah, and the mouse, Mr. Jinkles.
Oh yeah, Edouard Delacroix.
But I forget at the end if they did the same thing with the book where they kind of leave it as to how long Tom Hanks is going to be alive for.
Yeah, they do. I think because the story, the lady who he's telling the story to, you actually see her funeral then at the end is because he's basically living out. I mean, what you could look at is his punishment for killing a creation like John Coffey.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things that I got through that film, it's an amazing film to watch. Frank Darabont, who does personally just not enough because he's such a phenomenal director, but did the Shawshank Redemption and this film, and had a lot of help in creating The Walking Dead. But he does such a phenomenal job with how we're looking at John Coffey, and you see that this black man is for some reason trying to he's taking on the white man's burden. Every person that you see John Coffey heal is white, and every single then all of a sudden you have at the end, I'm trying to think. I think it's you have then the white people at the end trying to create or receive John Coffey's sympathy for putting him down. So the role is almost reversed, and I think that's such a unique look on this and take on this film. But it pours so much emotion out that it's like I'm salivating every time I want to watch this movie. And it's a long movie too, but it just
it's worth every minute.
Yeah, oh yeah, but it's just it's insane. But like I said, you know, John Coffey, you know, inhales and you know, just takes out the issues that these white people have, and he's just overlooked as just a flat out murderer, you know, and it's something that's relatable maybe to something that's happened, you know, years and years ago. As I was reading Roger Ebert's review and of the film, and he was spot on, you know. It's this guy is just this scapegoat because of the color of his skin, and but really he's just a miracle. So but yeah, no, I think that movie is insanely good, and you have such a great cast of characters as well, not just Tom Hanks, but then you have you know, his backup crew, his guards that help him out, and each one of them has their own unique personality, which you get tied into. And yeah, it's great. And I actually really love the scene where Tom Hanks goes and visits Gary Sinise. I think he was the lawyer, right, for John Coffey, and he talks about the dog that they had, this really kind-hearted dog, and then the dog one day just up and turned on the kid, and then he shows Tom Hanks the kid's face from where the dog mauled him. And yeah, it's a really deep scene.
I think the relationships that they build also with the other prisoners. I'm thinking more of the clown from Air Bud. I mean,
Edward
yeah,
Delacroix.
I mean, he's not like the pain in the ass like the other prisoner is. So I mean, there is some civility between him and the prison guards, and there
Right.
makes some sort
And
of
even the
connections.
Indian in the beginning, that I think he's the first one to go. And then obviously John Coffey, and then Wharton, that's played really well by Sam Rockwell plays maybe he wants them to call him Billy the Kid or whatever like that. William Wharton, he's the one who actually killed the
like
little
the
girls.
crazy guy?
Yeah.
Wipe shit on that dude's face or whatever.
He pisses on
Yeah.
one of them and spits on one of them
I
too.
thought he like
Doesn't he like
pooped on
grab
his
hold
hand.
of
that
that
mouthy
shitty
dude.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shitty-ass prison
Yeah,
guard.
Percy.
I'll tell him that you were harassing me, bullying me.
Yeah. Fact is, nobody knows why John Coffey killed those little goyles. Yeah, good movie though. Good movie.
Yeah.
Indeed.
2.
2. I had Apollo 13.
Oh yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So that is, yeah. It was a hard choice between my 1 and 2 for that, but I think 1 deserves a spot a lot more. But yeah, Apollo 13, again, tradition of Tom Hanks and great dramas. That's what most of these are for me personally. But just the whole, like the scene of, or like the whole thought of like him dreaming to go to the moon and him getting so close and having this horrible accident happen and the frustration and then just the end where they all come together and manage to sort of save the day. To compare it to like a more modern movie now would be The Martian.
Oh yeah.
But I like Apollo 13 a lot more. I think Martian's kind of overrated to be honest, but
Same.
yeah. But I think Apollo 13 has a lot more heart to it, a lot more. I felt more invested than I was in this in The Martian and similar like films. But yeah, just the ending scene where, or the ending bit where they're going and they're not sure if the heat shield's going to hold up, and Tom Hanks turns to his crew and says, "It is a privilege flying or serving with you."
Fine. Yeah, no, it's what's unique about Apollo 13 is the twist that it takes, because if you don't know about the actual Apollo 13, you think they're going to get to the moon. But what kind of movie would that be, right? But I think it's a really nice Ron Howard visual film, and the way that you have the tension, which of something that would normally be boring. Them talking about, you know, all the math that goes into, you know, the space shuttle and everything like that, and how they're going to get them back. And then Gary Sinise's character having to go through and create that little vacuum. Like, how do you fit, you know, a square peg into a round hole, basically. And that was great. how it turns into such a lighthearted, oh, they're gonna go to the moon, to a rescue mission is a really good plot, and I also think it boasts one of the best quotes, most memorable quotes ever. Houston, we have a problem. So it's awesome. I think one person that I think was overrated or underrated, I'm sorry, is Ed Harris in that movie, who's Mission Control or Houston. He does such a great job, and he's very intense, and I think maybe he might have been Oscar nominated in that one, but yeah, Apollo 13 is a wonderful movie.
Yeah, that intensity and like you said, that they make boring topics actually really interesting and tense, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, the space sequences are awesome, and then the whole mission control vibe that you get from being in there is, they have a deadline, and they are. I mean, I don't ever feel like any of those people are taking a break. They are doing their jobs, and they got to do it fast. No sleep. Very short of time, but yeah, I think it's really well acted. I thought the plot and the story moved at a decent pace for them being stuck in space.
Yeah.
So you have that good those good cutscenes between space and mission control, but also back to the family that is worrying whether or not they're going to get home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a phenomenal film.
He'll be home on Tuesday.
Is that 2?
Yeah, that was my 2.
Joey,
Or else
for... Or no. No, that was your 3, right?
No, my 3 was Green Mile.
Oh, yeah. What are we on? Oh, yeah, 3-2.
My 3. All right, so I just had number 3, all the Toy Stories. I just put them together.
Higher.
No, I talked about the Toy Story myself, but... So what's your backup? We gotta dig deep here.
Yeah, let's see.
We're running off.
We talked about the Burbs and A League of Their Own. Then we go to my number 7, Turner and Hooch.
Ooh, Turner and Hooch. Not on mine, but I do enjoy it.
Really? Is it on yours?
No, not. You're all good.
Okay, so you have this guy and this dog, and completely opposites, and I think that's a really cool concept to do with like a man and an animal rather than like a cop and another partner. Really, like this guy's just so OCD, like clean freak, and then he gets this. I don't even know what it is, like a boxer of some kind.
I don't know. It's an ugly ass dog.
A really ugly dog, just slobbers everywhere. Has really destructive tendencies. The way he just tries to like teach this dog like he would like talk to a person. You do not slobber on my shoes.
Yeah.
He's just like
he's completely out of his element.
Yes, it's so perfect. And then like the bond they obviously go through as partners trying to find the killer of Hooch's previous owner. It really
geezer,
gets your emotions like invested into the movie.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it, dude.
Dude, what are you doing?
I'm looking for it. I think it might be on the other. I don't know. But no, Turner and Hooch is. I thought when I was younger it was great, and when you actually have the sequence when they're in the hospital, and it's a tough scene, and I think it's really played well by Tom Hanks. But one of my favorite scenes is when they're staking out that warehouse. And then he's just geeking about something like Lancelot something and the monkeys, and he's like, he's like trying to explain to Hooch why it's so hilarious. But it's a good time, man. It's a good fun movie.
I forget, but doesn't he even like buckle the dog up in the car?
No, remember when it's mean? He gets it in that like noose thing and then just drives it along, and like the dog's just running alongside the car. At the end, you will not hide from me.
Yeah, the little Hooch.
It's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, the woman in that movie also does a really good job at that.
Yeah, she didn't age very well though. She didn't. So that was what your.
That was my 3. Well, that was my 7, but replaced it for my 3, which is the Toy Story.
So what's 2?
Films. 2 is Saving Private Ryan. Actually,
okay, I have
to
it
rewatch
4,
it
so.
last night.
You're all set.
Well, okay. Well, besides Saving Private Ryan just being a stellar movie, you have Tom Hanks as Captain Miller, and he's very, very like. I mean, I really don't know how to explain it. He's very basically just an icon. Whatever you see is just a typical captain in the army. He really takes hold of that and runs away with it. I mean, he's intense. He's got the ordering down to a part, but again, he's like fraternizing with his soldiers, you know, cracking jokes and stuff.
Stop fraternizing with the help, Gilmore.
Yeah, I feel like he really adds a lot to that movie. I mean, without Tom Hanks, what do you have in Saving Private Ryan?
I mean, you got a lot of good visuals, like that opening scene, but no, I agree. I think, I will say though, Spielberg, you know, he recreates World War II in a way that we've never seen before.
Yes.
You know, and we all know about the opening sequence, and if you haven't seen the opening sequence to Saving Private Ryan, pause this shit right now, go watch it, and then come back, because you are missing out. And every time I want to overlook Saving Private Ryan, because it's on all lists. I mean, it's so hard to shake this off of the list. And it deserves to be on all these lists. But you see that opening sequence, and you're just like, damn. I kind of think it goes on a downward slope from there, but it's not saying that it's a bad movie. I mean, it's my 4. It's kind of like Inglourious Bastards from that opening scene. It's just like, man, does that set the mark for the high water mark for the rest of the film?
It's hard to keep up with it.
Right? Yeah, but you know, I think, you know, we're not spared the hardships of war in this, you know, this film. You know, you're seeing young men pushed to the brink, often reminding us that, you know, these are just young men. You know, when the doctor's sitting there crying for his mom, you know, it's like, it's insane, you know. And then you see that these young kids have regrets that they're gonna have to live with what they think could be the rest of their lives, because they might never make it out of there. But yeah, it's just intense action, deep characters, and all of it being anchored by Hanks. And, you know, I love Hanks' character because he's so deep. You know, there's so much going on with Captain Miller that we don't know. And the best part is because it's great, because we go into the film not knowing anything about him. Yeah. And then by the time we are, you know, thrust into the regiment that he creates, you know, we know as much as the soldiers do about him. They have a bet about who he is at home. And then as we go deeper into the story and the mission, we start to see his layers unfold and, you know, find the true person behind, you know, his stone face, you know, that he usually shows.
That was something I was definitely going to bring up about his character, the duality with him. In Europe, he's just, you know, this battle-hardened captain just trying to keep everybody alive and complete the mission. He's just a badass, you know, and then over at home, he's just somebody completely completely different. But people who know him in both different settings would say that the role he plays is very typical, you know, like when he tells them what he finally tells them what he does for a living, and he says to the soldiers, you know, people over back home, I'd tell them what I do, and they say, yeah, that's typical.
Yeah.
But then you have like the soldiers, Reiben and like Jackson, they all like looking up to this guy because he really is like a badass, and he has kept them alive up until this point.
That's right, yeah. But yeah, I think when you look at it, it's a wonderful achievement in film by the master Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, it's an excellent film.
Yeah, and I've talked so much about it. It's just you just can't stop praising the film for being what it is. So, yeah, that's a good one. That was your 2?
Yes.
All right, so I'm at 3, and I'm gonna say Castaway.
No, I didn't.
You're good.
All right, so Castaway to me is a dissection of time and what we do with it. The film also showcases loss, and those two themes go hand in hand throughout this movie. Chuck Nolan, which is Tom Hanks' character, he faces so much adversity, not just while being on an island and surviving a plane crash and all that, but also leaving the island too. He's basically leaving a life source that he has. He could live there. How long is he going to live there? But he's sustained himself for quite a while. But he has to go through losing his world all over again when he realizes he can't wrap his arms around the woman that he loves ever again. she had to move on with her life, and that scene alone in the rain where Chuck he just reverses. That whole scene is great, and I think it's insane that to think about someone that you love and you not being there for them for years and then have them having to finally give up on you and move on would just be terrible. But the trickle-down effect from his decision to choose work over his love is something that sets in gear a question of whether or not time has something bigger in mind for Chuck Nolan. And what I mean by that is Tom Hanks goes through transitions, not just on screen, but off. He has a massive change in physique, but also in mind. And the ending of this film is one that is so overlooked because we have the theme of time and loss coming full circle. Rewatch the final scene and tell me that time hasn't led him to his soulmate. So we are led to believe that Kelly Freer's Helen Hunt's character was the one that kept him alive. But if you remember from the time he gets on that island, he does have the watch with Kelly, but he also finds that package with the wings on it. The wings help him throughout his endeavor on the island, but also when he's leaving the island, it is literally his wings that get him over the surf, to get him past those big waves coming in, and actually gets him to the point where he's going to return the package and basically maybe even finding his soulmate. Two people that have lost pretty much everything in their world. You see that the woman in the beginning with the package with the wings, her husband's cheating on her. You see that at the end in the beginning of the film, it has both their names on the barn, and now it's only one at the end. So she is single and available. If you watch the wind blow in the direction of the house that this lady lives in, you'll know that maybe there's something more than just him returning this package to this lady. So that's my thought on it. That's what really gets me. The stuff with Wilson is incredible. Yeah. It's great. It's a Robert Zemeckis film. I think another director that does so well with Tom Hanks. There's very little dialogue in there. He's using a lot of his body. His acting. He even gives some nods to 2001: A Space Odyssey at moments. Tom Hanks' favorite film, by the way. But yeah, I love Castaway. It's endlessly rewatchable for me. It's one of my favorites, and yeah, I think it's a movie that people are easily overlook in the grand scheme of things because this guy gets stuck on an island, he comes back off. But the ending is so profound, and it's so touching almost, because you actually see that this guy does get we are led to believe that he might get his happy ending. Standing there at the end, staring into, towards the truck that he realizes is the lady that had the package that saved his life. So, and then you have Alan Silvestri's score, which is just, it's used very minimally, but just in all the perfect places. So
I feel like whenever we're talking about Tom Hanks, we're going to be praising how well he embodies the roles he takes on, and Castaway really is right there with that. People who are like survivalists, if you're stuck out, stranded or whatever, you have to take away small victories for yourself. And Tom Hanks does that extraordinarily well in Castaway. He's got wins over the coconuts, and his reaction to those are just hilarious. And fire when he's trying to make he's trying to make a fire for like 2-3 days, and once he finally gets it, he's just so revved up, and it's like so believable and so perfect, really.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. That was my 3. Jeez. All right, 2. Forrest Gump.
Okay, I have that higher.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
you mean to tell me you have Toy Stories?
I have Philadelphia at 10, so maybe I'll just switch I'll just have to leave it because I don't have
Yeah.
anything else.
That's what I figured. Yeah,
Um.
blew through most of the list.
By the way, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. Are you guys? The reason why we're doing this is there's a new Tom Hanks movie coming out. I think it came out Friday. It's like a hologram, a hologram for a king or something like that. I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I forgot to mention it in the beginning, and but I just wanted to mention that now. So I'll just actually forfeit my, or maybe I'll just switch it with my one because that would be your guys' two. I'm assuming. So my one is Toy Story.
Okay, yeah, Toy Story was
Yeah.
my 3. So.
What's yours?
My number one?
Oh no, you don't have to say your number one.
Yeah, okay.
But it's not. It's not.
No.
Okay. So yeah, Toy Story is
Yep.
is my number one, and I think to make it short and sweet, this film it launched Pixar into the stratosphere and basically is will forever be a time capsule for my childhood. Toy Story defined an era for me and is still the measuring stick for Pixar films to date. Without the combination of Hanks and Alan, there is no Woody and Buzz, there's no Toy Story, and more importantly, there's no Pixar. I think Hanks embodies a toy on top, only to be taken down at the knees by his owner's need for the next best thing. Because let's face it, we've all had great toys before, and it's always constantly shifting between what's new and better. You can even see it today with just basically anything with like phones and stuff like that too. But just such a creative idea for a film, and then you have Buzz Lightyear, which is really really cool. Compared to Woody, who's just sort of like this classic cowboy, and is kind of lame to look at. But both voices, Hanks and Alan, bring home this incredible journey that encompasses coming to terms with jealousy, friendship, and teamwork. Just incredible characters, incredible script, incredible story, incredible film.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Every piece of this movie, down to the voices, to the relationships on screen that the characters eventually have, is incredible.
Yeah, I mean the animation is just so fun to look at. You have the different colors. Andy's room.
I have always wanted that wallpaper.
Oh, really?
No, sky wallpaper.
Oh yeah, the sky wallpaper. Yeah, it's sweet. But yeah, the Randy Newman songs too. It's classic.
I get fly.
Yeah. Clearly
Buzz just
I
goes through.
will go sailing no more. He's just laying on the ground with one arm.
He turns into Miss Nisbet.
I am Miss
He's
Nesbit.
depressed that he's a toy.
You are a child's plaything.
Yeah, no, that's probably one of the best animated Disney Pixar films.
Could you imagine
reservoir.
anybody else outside of Tim Allen and Tom Hanks being in that role? Like,
It really would not. They wouldn't click like Buzz and Woody do.
right? You uncultured swine. That's great. All right, ones.
Royce is number
Royce.
So my number one, Forrest Gump.
Forrest
one.
Gump.
Alright, that's same.
Yeah.
Really?
that's
That's
what I
my two. All right. Let's talk about it. Go
Yeah.
for it.
So I think I would imagine everyone's seen this movie.
Oh.
God, yes.
Yes.
But
Instant classic.
it's just an unbelievable film about this man living and existing through his life, and overcoming sort of adversity. Things that really stick out to me is like the most powerful scene for me is when Forrest confronts Jenny after she returns after all the time, and he says, like, he essentially admits he knows he's
Not bright.
he's not bright, that he has some sort of
Yeah.
mental disability, by saying, I'm not a smart man. And also that same sort of thing gets brought up when he sees his son and asks if he's smart,
Yeah.
because he's worried about his kid. That's
Yeah.
that's literally the first thing he asks about him.
Right.
Is he smart? And you see like this relief hit him when she says he's the smartest one in his class, and like
Yeah.
he's in tears because he's worried about his son. But yeah, I watched that somewhat recently, like a month ago, and it's still, even now, it brings out a ton of emotion and a ton of even though Tom Hanks is at the center of it, it's still like Jenny's story and it's still Lieutenant Dan's story as well about
Right.
their progression through this character.
There's so many short stories in this film, and it all comes together so seamlessly. It's such an amazing feat for film. I think it's truly a masterpiece.
Again, Tom Hanks comes up and we can talk about how well he embodies this role. I mean, he's so believable as somebody who is slower on, like, when it comes to thinking processes and stuff. I mean, his IQ is, what, 70, 78 in that movie?
It's very low.
And
Yeah, it's
he
like
does an
Is there a Mr.
incredible
Gump?
job.
Ms. Gump.
He's out on vacation.
Really
Mama,
does.
what's vacation?
He really does, like, you have to remind yourself that this is Tom Hanks and he's quite knowledgeable guy, you know, in real life. I mean, he does an excellent job taking on.
Have you ever seen that picture of the dude who's passed out at the bar? There's this random dude passed out at a bar, and there's Tom Hanks behind him with this other guy, and they're like taking a selfie with this dude. Oh man, it's like, oh dude, this guy, I just want to chill with Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
man. Hit me up, Tom. I'll give you a few private lessons, tennis lessons, man. But were you gonna say anything else before I rudely interrupted?
Before you rudely interrupt, no, I was just basically talking about, you know, how believable this guy is.
Oh yeah. I created a rant about this movie, and it goes a little something like this. The light piano melody that sets up the feather in the wind, which is essentially what Hanks's character is, puts in gear a romance/drama that is endlessly rewatchable, due in large part to the performance of Tom Hanks. Hanks roped in his second of two acting Oscars for this performance, and we all know and love Forrest Gump, so going over it again in detail would be beating a worn drum. But I can bring in a horse of a different color and say Forrest Gump is a film that everybody needs to watch. Gump is not held back by his disabilities, even though he is constantly looked at differently or doubted. This character and Hanks' performance is something that will make you want to stand up and cheer for. Don't go into this film feeling bad for Forrest, because he is more motivated than most people I've met, even if he is a feather in the wind. It takes tremendous courage to let the wind pick you up and toss you about all accidental-like. The way Gump is able to tell Jenny about his travels at the end is something that every person in the world should strive for, and the raw emotion that this man feels is unparalleled. Forrest Gump is a tremendous work of art. Watch this film. Zemeckis and Hanks are always a great pairing. I asked a teacher in high school about, do you like Forrest Gump? And I talked to him, and he said, yeah, but I don't get why he has to be, slower. To me, I think it's more than just saying, like, being more of an entertainment piece that he's a slower man, and more of that, just go do what you want to do, you know? This guy literally floated through the wind. I mean, we have the beginning with the feather. The feather comes full circle throughout the beginning of the movie and the end. And the guy he is not set back from anything. He thrives at so much.
That's what it is. I got my train of thought back. He thrives. It's like you say. He thrives at anything, and he's really not held back by his disability, because the imagination on this guy and how everybody around him is seen to be kind of taken in by his imagination, and he brings like things together for people.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost a light in the dark, like the light of Elendil.
Yeah.
But when you see the way he touches people in different ways, Jenny's messed up from the beginning. I mean, her dad was always squeezing her and touching her and her sister.
He was a very loving man.
Yeah. But she's messed up from the beginning, but she can find some solace and comfort with Forrest. The dude is an All-American however many times.
Yeah.
Congratulations. How do you feel?
A war hero.
Yeah, a war hero, yeah.
Lady said he had to go pee.
But doing just what he knows in the world to be right. And it goes back to the way he was raised by his mom, who was willing to do anything, to go any lengths to get him the same education as everybody else, because he's not different. Or he's special, but he's special in his own ways, not because of his intelligence, which is, you know, it's I don't know, it's a phenomenal movie. It's great. I mean, well cast.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Remember when the Lieutenant Dan starts sliding down the the icy slope? What how does it go, Joe?
God damn bless America. oh God, whoa.
I'm walking here. Oh, that's great. What are you, stupid or something? What'd you say to him?
Did you hear what I said? Walk beside him in the kingdom of heaven. What a crock of shit.
Now hear this.
It's just
Private
so
Gump
bitter.
here is going to be a shrimp boat captain.
You know, I really think it's that brings on another thing about Forrest's ability to really bring people back. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Jenny
Oh, yeah.
is
Yeah, that's-
so
that's a
far
great
gone,
point.
addicted to drugs and everything else, and she eventually does come back and is able to live a semi-normal life from there. And
Yeah, at
Lieutenant Dan,
least for a small.
everybody in the guy's family died in battle. So I mean, he basically knew what he was doing going into
Yeah.
Vietnam. But there's Forrest to pull him out, and that kind of sends Lieutenant Dan into a downward spiral. But at the same time, it also brings him back because he
Yeah, it's like
really
withdrawals almost.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
really understands what Forrest was trying to do for him. He wasn't trying to take away his honor,
Yeah.
but he was just simply trying to save his life, and I think he really did that in more ways than one.
It's such a beautiful film. I mean, like for me, I love going to the South because you see so many you have the ocean, you have beautiful trees, wonderful houses, all sorts of things like that. And one of my favorite scenes is when he is telling Jenny about his travels. You know, you have him running by the mountains and you have that crystal clear lake reflecting. You don't know where the sky or what does he say, the sky ends and the
Earth began.
yeah, something like that. And then you have him staring on the boat out at the ocean. You know, it's this pink sky,
Yeah.
and it's gorgeous. And this movie is, for being another long one, it's so endlessly rewatchable. And it's films like this that, you know, that mix drama and some lightheartedness, and it creates such a pleasurable viewing experience. So
Yeah, it's an instant classic. There's really no boring parts of the
no,
whole movie.
not that I can think of. I enjoy it all. So bravo to Mr. Hanks. Let's create our list.
All right.
So I think Forrest Gump goes at 1.
Yeah, I have to agree.
All right, let me get this going here. Let me see here. All right, 1. Forrest Gump.
Henry Winkler.
2, I'm gonna guess, is probably Toy Story.
You guys down for Toy Story?
Yeah, I'll go with Toy Story.
Let's see here. 3.
Would be Saving Private Ryan or
Castaway is another
would you
one.
go-
I have
have-
Castaway, but I also have Saving Private Ryan at 4. Do you have Private Ryan?
I have Private Ryan, but it's up there. It's like 8 or 7. Castaway is 4 for me.
okay, Castaway then.
Castaway or Private Ryan? Wow.
Yeah.
Which is really a horse apiece. I mean, it could
Yeah.
flip flop
Yeah,
either
That's the
way.
thing
so.
with Tom Hanks, like all his movies.
Yeah.
So you guys say Private Ryan at 4?
Yeah.
I think that's good. 5 is gonna be tricky.
What do you guys have at 5?
I
have-
had the Burbs.
I have Big.
The one we haven't used is Apollo 13 for mine,
Oh, okay.
and then Catch Me If You Can.
And Apollo 13.
Yeah,
is
my
also-
Catch Me If You Can is at 4 too. So
So we can do. We both had Apollo 13. You didn't have it on your list?
I didn't.
But now, what was the other one then? Catch Me If You
Catch Me
Can?
If You Can, yeah.
That's my 4.
That's my 7.
It's not on mine. I forgot about it.
Um,
So really, again, it's a horse apiece. Which way you want to go?
Yeah.
Should we do yours, Apollo 13,
Apollo,
then?
and then Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, I think that's legit. I wanted to see how many of these are on Netflix. Gotta check them out. Again.
6. Catch Me If You Can. All right, 7. What do you guys have remaining?
Well, 5.
I have Big at 5.
5 for me was The Burbs, and then I had A League of Their Own at 6.
I also had A League of Their Own.
Yeah, I just had Philadelphia and Road to Perdition.
Well, what about The Green Mile?
Oh yeah, the Green. Oh crap, I forgot about that. Yeah, the Green Mile.
Okay, let's
was
do.
also there.
You guys down with The Green Mile? Joey?
Where'd you have it?
Well, I had to move it up. It was my 6, but I had to move it up because.
Okay, it was my 8.
It was my 3.
All right, let's
Okay.
go with Green Mile then.
8. So we have. I have Big. You have The Burbs. And that. Well,
Big was on my list. It was my 10.
What's missing in your top 5?
My top 5.
Big is missing out on.
The Burbs. The Burbs is the only one missing.
What about yours? Do you have everything in yours?
Other than Catch Me If You Can, I have Money Pit, which you haven't talked about yet. in
Oh,
Philadelphia.
wow. I have
And
the
Road
money.
to Perdition. Money Pit's just hilarious.
So we can do 8, 9, and 10. So we have Road to Perdition, Big, and
I think
The
Big needs to
Burbs?
be on there. Yeah.
And A League of Their Own too.
oh shit.
Crap, it's gonna be hard to fit that on there.
All right, so okay, now let's just do averages here. I have Big at 5. You have it at 10.
Yeah.
You're the only one that has The Burbs.
Mm.
I have A League of Their Own. You have A League of Their Own.
Did
between
anybody
you two
else
for-
have Turner and Hooch?
And then,
No.
no.
So and what did you have?
Road to Perdition.
Road to Perdition.
I had Road to Perdition at 9 too.
Well, we all 3 had Road to Perdition, so I believe that should go at 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is gonna be tricky.
9. Big outweighs. Well, Big would be top. You didn't have Big? Did you have Big
No,
on
I
yours?
did not have Big.
I had it at 10. Yeah.
So we have 5 and 10, and then A League of Their Own.
My League of Their Own is at 6. So I don't know
Mine's
what
at
yours.
9. So it's like the same. I
Yeah.
mean,
If you 9 and 6 to 10 and 5.
yeah.
It is the same.
Shit.
Yeah, but we have 2 spots.
Yeah.
The thing is
Which one
we're
beats you?
looking at the Burbs.
Yeah.
So the Burbs is almost going to be outed.
Yeah.
It'll be our big honorable mention, I guess.
Yeah, it'll have to be.
Until Seidel watches it, and then we'll come back and redo the list.
So
So,
we'll go to League of Their Own and then Big. Or Big and then A League of Their Own.
personally, I think Big is more rewatchable. But I'm willing to do
I think it's more revolved around Hanks.
I'm willing to do the old patented pick the
Yeah, let's pick the caps.
all right
The Sun will be A League of Their Own.
all right
What the hell is the other one?
Hakusho is the other.
Hakusho is Big.
yeah Seidel or
Yeah.
Royce. God, it's the second time I've done that.
All right. It is.
Hakusho,
I'm sure it is.
Big, and then A League of Their Own. Come on.
Took in that lip.
Just
goes like this.
Caught on a tripwire.
Clear out that hole. He just goes right in there. Dude, go. That's something I wanted to mention.
Until
This becomes so
you know,
funny.
there wasn't a lot of talking unless Lieutenant Dan would say, "Get down, shut up, get down, shut up." So we did. All right, so
No, I can't.
1098 765 432, and then we all say 1.
Yeah.
All right, not another top 10 shows. Best Tom Hanks films. At number 10, we have A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. Number 9, Make Me Big. Number 8, it's all so fucking hysterical. Road to Perdition.
Number 7, we have The Green Mile. Number 6, Catch Me If You Can. And number 5, Apollo 13.
Number 4 is Saving Private Ryan. 3 is Castaway, and number 2 is Toy Story.
And not on our top 10s, number 1 best Tom Hanks film is Forrest Gump. I'm Forrest Gump. Wow, great job, guys. Thanks for joining us. Look, like, subscribe, comment, please. I don't have anything for people this week, but thanks everyone for who has been commenting and sharing the videos. You guys rock. So getting down to what we're thinking about doing for our next podcast starting this summer, which is technically in a couple weeks here because everyone's done with school. We're going to, in honor of the late great television series Dog Eat Dog, comes a Real Frame of Mind production, Film Eat Film. What this is a movie debate podcast. It's 1v1 with a host/judge. And what you do is each person on the podcast picks a topic. It could be as broad as sci-fi movies and could be as specific as Gina Davis movies. It doesn't matter. What happens is, say I was the host and Royce versus Jay Neems. We each would pick a topic based on something that we think the other people wouldn't know. So you could say, I don't know, Studio Ghibli films. Joe, you could say something like, I don't know, stoner movies, whatever. And then I could say something like Star Wars films. And you'd come together, we'd argue for your film, and then whoever wins best of three is the winner of Film Eat Film. And we're hoping to do this with new people every single time. So it should be fun, it should be intense, and it should be a little bit shorter than our podcast so far. But thanks for tuning in. Look for Film Eat Film coming soon. Hopefully in the middle of May, our first one will drop. But thanks again for watching, and remember, life is like a box of chocolates.